भद्रं कर्णैभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागं सस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let us now pray together. We offer our salutations to the all-loving being who endows all beings with consciousness. We meditate on the Lord, who is the origin of the universe. Lord, thou abidest in all. Thou art all. Thou assumest all forms. Thou art the origin and goal of all. Thou art the self of all. Thou art existence, knowledge, and bliss. Salutations unto thee. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is spiritual and abiding. May our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. Let us close our eyes and feel our true self, the innermost core of our being, as a bright, constantly shining light. Let us feel this brilliant but soothing radiance within us. As I concentrate on it, I see this radiance is filling my whole being. And soon I see it spreads all around. Engulfing the whole universe in its embrace. nothing but this immensely bright, all-encompassing splendor. The whole time and space is filled with this all separateness, like I and others is dissolved. In this ocean infinite of splendor. All sense of space and time is dissolved too. The whole nature and the natural laws also dissolved. I am this, ever free, ever perfect, infinite splendor. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Om. आत्मा में शुद्ध्यन्तां ज्योतिरहं Viraja vipapma bhuyasagam swaha. May my physical self be purified. I am of the nature of luminosity, free from all dirt, free from all sins. I am the pure light. Om Antaratma me shuddhyantam jyotiraham viraja vipapma bhuyasagam swaha. May my mental self be purified. I am of the nature of radiance divine, pure, perfect, infinite. Om Paramatma me shuddhyantam jyotiraham viraja vipapma bhuyasagam swaha. May my spiritual being be purified. I am of the nature of divine splendor, free from all bondage, all impurity, all sin. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear friends, one of the most fundamental, most common urges that we have is that of freedom. We feel always this drag to be free. We do not like bondage of any type, and yet we live in the midst of so many bondages which cannot be shaken off. We can fight against some of the external bondages. But what about the bondage of our own body and mind, of all our cravings and so many habits and tendencies? They bind us. How to get rid of that bondage? I feel when I think of the bondages, I feel this is the most terrible bondage that I am subjected to, the bondage of my habits, my cravings, all the desires that I have, tendencies that I have, they are binding me more than anybody or anything else. It is this bondage that is most difficult to break. The other bondages being external, you can run away, or you can break with power those bondages. Like the political freedom people get, okay, you got it, but have you really become free? It's a good question to ask oneself, that I am still not free. I am still subject to death. I am still subject to lot of other the furies of nature, I am not free of them. I am still free of so many thoughts rising in me that I really don't want. I don't want those thoughts to rise in me, but they come. I am bound by those. I get urges suddenly, and then I am bound by them, act on them. I have to act on them. This is the bondage that we have to do what we don't want to do, because our tendencies, they overpower our judgment. Our sensory life overpowers our cerebral life. Our wisdom gets overpowered by these tendencies. And I feel imprisoned by that. It is therefore seen that this freedom has a more internal dimension that we have to probe. And when we become really free from these things, which in one word is called getting freed from ego. Ego is a summation of all these personal cravings, personal tendencies, the built up habits, and so forth, and the uncontrollable, those urges that just bend my judgments in a most unliked manner. So therefore, it is this freedom from ego is something that is sought by the person who is really seeking freedom. All the religious thought of the universe whirls around it, that we all know there is an infinite dimension to our being, that something is in us that is great, unimaginably great, tremendous. We have that in us. Every time we get a feel that I am not just this piece of flesh, blood, etc. I am much more than that. I have that greatness hidden in me, and we want to manifest that. That is one of the very prominent ideas that we have, which is called the manifestation of intrinsic divinity in us. Swami Vivekananda says, as you can read there on that board, that religion is the manifestation of divinity already in man. All of us have that divine dimension, and we feel it. It tries to come up, but then it cannot manifest fully. It gets kind of stifled, and that makes us unhappy and morose. Why this world is so much mired in sufferings and sorrows, although if we are divine, that shouldn't happen. If I am divine, then why should sorrow be there for me? But the reason is that this divinity is not getting manifest. We all see that the greatness in us. We feel it. At one level, We all feel it, It is, I was mentioning it yesterday at another gathering, that it comes up in our daydreams. In daydreaming, we all reach the maximum greatness that we can imagine. You become the greatest on the earth or in the whole universe. There is nobody superior to you. You are free. You can do whatever you want. That is all the ideas that about being the overlord of everything. They just rush forth in that moment. But it is just a daydreaming. It is not reality. So it breaks and we kind of fall down from that daydreaming with a big thud. I am being just kicked around by the nature. I am not free. I am not great. Look what that person said to me. It is all our ideas of being great. They are just dashed in no time. And yet we cannot give up that thought that I am the greatest one. I am the splendorous one. So this idea is greatly taken up by all the spiritual teachers of the world, that yes, there is this hidden light in us, and it is trying to manifest. It is trying to break free of all bondages, trying to break free of this convention of time and space. Time and space is a big bondage. We have to be wherever we go. We are still in time and space. We are not able to break that bondage. What it means is, I have to change. I keep on getting changed against my desire. I want to say, for example, I want to stay young. But there is time. I have to become old. There is no choice in that. It is always, you can see that wherever we run to get freedom, we may feel that this is the bondage, that my family is a bondage. And they always try to control me. One sometimes get this feeling. The teenagers, they get this feeling many times very strongly, that it is, I am being too much controlled by my family members. My mom is very controlling. What can be done? It is, you feel that, and yes, so many take this step, an insane step, that run away from family. I will go run away. But can you run away from your ego? You cannot run away from your ego. You can run away from other people. You can run away from family. But then the bondage of ego, the bondage of time and space, it has that stranglehold on us. And so, if we want to become free, we have to actually address that level of bondage. Otherwise, we will not be able to become free. You see that in Vedanta, this is considered the most important thing, that to have to hold on to your true nature, and then you will become free, because your true nature, the Atman, is ever free. There is no bondage to that. But when it comes to identification with body and mind, then that is bound, that is material. It is under the laws of nature, and so I too become bound by identification with them. So, therefore, it is the real challenge is to just shake off this identification with body and mind. And of course, there are various ways that we can do that, but the idea is first we have to feel our true nature, that it is one and the same. It is a very startling thing, and many are not ready to accept that. Even as a matter of intellectual understanding, many do not feel that, well, I cannot go probably that far. That yes, this my true nature is the true nature of everyone. My true nature is all-pervading, and it is same. The soul is not different. It is only because of the being caught in that body, mind, ego. You feel that I am a limited entity and I am different from the other person. And then there is this craving then happens. The desires come up. That it is always a problem, how to satisfy the desires. You may feel that, okay, I can satisfy this desire, but you satisfy one desire, and then in the place of it, two spring up. And then that is how exponentially they keep on increasing. You get completely walloped in that you get completely surrounded by that. You cannot really see yourself becoming free from that. So it is that but when we analyze, we see the source of the desires also is because there is this intrinsic unity, and we do not like separation. If you psychologically analyze desire, what it means is dissatisfaction. That is why I want something. I am not satisfied with the existing situation, and so I crave for something. That is the nature of desire. I feel dissatisfaction. Even the minor desires, you see, like say, I want to eat a cookie. Now, I feel a dissatisfaction without cookie. No, I am hungry, I am not good. Therefore, when you don't want it, you say, I am good. Otherwise, I am not good. I need a cookie to become good. So, you go and to grab the cookie and you eat it. Now, what has become there? You feel temporarily, at least you feel satisfied, because now you have become one with the cookie. That difference is obliterated. Do you see that this is how you feel at least some temporary level of satisfaction? The desires are therefore they are indicative that of dissatisfaction with this multiplicity. As long as there is multiplicity, what happens with that multiplicity is I and you, and then there has to be desire also. And that is how in Vedanta the creation is projected, how creation comes about. And it is same with the biblical story of Genesis too, only that the story, it is different, the poetic presentations are different, but the essence is same, that as you see, it is all one. There was nothing but that one. Now, by ignorance of that one, it gets seen, perceived as I and the world. It is that awareness now has become fractured, as it were. Do you see that the homogeneous awareness of the one reality now has a fractured state, that I and the world. And because this is not true, it kind of pinches us. We feel dissatisfied, and so because of that fractured consciousness, the automatic outcome of it is desire. The desires take so many different shapes, and what we attempt to begin with is that, okay, this desire is not good. Let me take a good desire. And then we feel, okay, satisfied. No, friends. That it is, comparatively, maybe it is okay, but it still does not bring satisfaction. It is, the desires keep on coming, and they are like this, that you keep on running after the desired object, it keeps on running ahead of you. You chase it, like a rabbit being chased by a fox. Now the rabbit is running ahead, the fox is chasing. So the object of desire runs ahead of us, and we keep on chasing it. Now, at one point, we feel we have grabbed it, and then feel momentarily satisfied, that like grabbing the candy, okay, or the cookie. I grabbed the cookie. Yes, the job is done, as it were. I will be satisfied. No, you again see the cookie or whatever running ahead of you, and you start chasing it. The whole life is spent like that, chasing various objects like that, and well, therefore at the old age we feel cheated. We feel that the nature has dealt a very big blow to us. We have been given a raw deal, as it were, and but the reason is that there is nothing that you can do to satisfy the desires unless you see that the source of the desires is this fractured consciousness. The two things, wherever there is two, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that wherever there is two, there is fear. Wherever there is two, there is fear. It is, and so if you want to go beyond fear, you will have to get to that inner oneness. And then there is no fear. There is, in this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, a dialogue comes that the king asks that, well, what is that I am going to get by this knowledge? And he is told, Abhayam means fearlessness. You will come to true fearlessness by realizing this truth. You will be ever free and free from fear. That is the most important thing. No fear. And it mentions that as long as there are two, there is no cessation of fear. No cessation of fear. You can, build walls and walls around you, still no cessation of fear. So therefore, we have to actually feel that our true nature being one. We feel that deep within us that tremendous splendor. And then that splendor is seeking to become free. It is a beautiful poem of Robert Browning, a poet of in the middle of the 19th century, and he has he's very famous poet, philosopher and sage poet. So he has written a poem on the alchemist of 15th century, Paracelsus. And that Paracelsus poem, he says, truth is within ourselves. It takes no rise from outward things. Whatever you may believe, there is an inmost center in us all, which does not change, that inmost center in us. Other things the body keeps on changing, but there is the innermost center, and one feels it. So that center, the poet says, in that center where truth abides in fullness, and around, wall upon wall, the gross flesh hems it in, this perfect clear perception, which is truth. A baffling and perverting carnal mesh binds it and makes all error, and to know rather consists in opening out a way whence the imprisoned splendor may escape. This is this flesh. It has kind of imprisoned us. And how it is, as the poet says, it is a baffling and perverting carnal mesh. It is, we identify that I with this changing flesh. It is changing all the time, but we somehow feel that that is I, which is something terribly wrong. And thus we keep on looking for what is the truth. It is, so the idea is in these such poems that the Browning is speaking of is to let it be free, to find out and hold on to that true self, the core of our being, where lies the truth, the splendor. And that when we hold on to that, we attain to freedom. That is the only thing free. We can easily see, as physical entities, we can never become free. It is, as bodies, it is under the laws of matter, it is natural laws are there. You are compelled by that. You can never be actually free as physical entities, nor even as psychological entities. You can never be free like that, only as spirit, where you do not change, where you are one and the same. It is, and it is same in all. This is a great statement which is difficult to believe, but it is true, that this self here and self there, they are not different at all. It is again and again we have to tell ourselves that just as the water bottles, thousands of water bottles, well, the bottles are different, the water is the same. It is only the bottles that create this sense of difference. Just think of yourself, let us think of ourselves as a bottle and our true self as the spirit, which is our essence, that is same in all. And it is good and bad does not apply to the self, it applies only to the body and mind. And therefore it changes from person to person. Somebody is, good in my understanding, bad in somebody else's understanding. Again, it shifts that for me also that person I thought good, but does not do what I want that person to do, and then suddenly my opinion about that person changes. It is so, this is the quality not of the self, but of body and mind, quality of this horrible carnal mesh, as Browning puts it here. So, look at that inner splendor, and as we look at it, you can see that is how the meditation is taught in Vedanta. For example, the wonderful Narayan Suktam says that in you, just imagine in the depth of your heart a flame, and then tasya madhye vandhishekha aniyordhva vyavasthita, that in that tiny but constantly burning splendorous flame, in that resides the divine. It is therein, in that splendor, you can feel your true essence, the God, what is called Paramatma, that it is there. And so when you hold on to that, what happens? That now see in meditation, that is how it can proceed, that this splendor then starts occupying your whole awareness. Your body, you see, is filled with that. Everything is dissolved, as it were, in that self, that splendor. And as your personality dissolves in it, well, a much wonderful thing happens. The whole universe also dissolves in it. This separation is because I consider I am separate. When that is dissolved, then the whole separation collapses. The whole universe is seen as that timeless brilliance, timeless effulgence of our own true self. There we attain to the true freedom. It is, and this is what we see all scriptures telling, as Jesus says, well, hold on to truth, know the truth, and truth shall make you free. Hold on to truth, that know the truth, and that will make us free. There is a nice poem by Swami Vivekananda that it is a very sublime poem of, it is titled Song of the Free. It is, I am not going to recite the whole poem, just a couple of stanzas from that it is, Swami Vivekananda says, nor angel I, nor man, nor brute, nor body, mind, nor he, nor she. The books do stop in wonder mute to tell my nature. I am he. Here he is written capital in bold letters, means I am that divine. That is what I am. When we easily, just a little logic, just 1 minute is enough to understand actually I am not the body. And what it means, the conclusions are startling, if we take just this logical conclusion of I am not body, what does it mean? I have no birth, I have no death. It is only the body that is born and that dies. If I am not body, then I don't have birth or death or any change. I do not have a gender. I am not male, female, or whatever. I am none of that. It is, I am not rich or poor. These things are all pertain to body and not to me. Just as the car brands. You may say that, well, my car is Mercedes or BMW or Corolla or whatever. It doesn't become your quality, it is the quality of the car. It is similarly, I am a man or woman is not my quality, it is the quality of the body. It is, so one has to see this, that if I am not body, that one stroke can bring us so much of light in our understanding. And you can see, therefore, I am eternal. Swamiji continues in the next stanza, before the sun, the moon, the earth, before the stars or comets free, before even time has had its birth, I was, I am, and I will be. It is this, no, these are but the outer crust. All space and time, all effect, cause. I am beyond all sense, all thought, the witness of the universe. There we see the inner splendor is free now. It has broken all bondages, and thus the life is filled with that ultimate peace and happiness. And let me again repeat the warning given by the sages. There is no way in the world otherwise to become happy. Ask yourself that do you want to become happy or not? Then proceed in this direction. Otherwise, well, the conclusion is whatever you do, you are not going to become happy. It is, and same thing with peace. Do we want peace or not? If you want peace, this is the only way to get peace. There is no other way out. Nanya pantha, as the Upanishads say, there is no other way but to realize this truth, our true splendorous inner nature. And there we attain that goal of life. And it is there we become free. So friends, let us meditate on this idea of our incorporeal, splendorous, true nature, infinite, all-enveloping, for about a minute. And then, if you have any question, feel welcome to ask. Yes, please. So very good. There is no question. The subject is so simple. Oh, you have a question. Oh, on the from the website there is a question. Okay.
Swamiji, you mentioned about desires of acquiring something. This throws some light on desire of getting away from the things that we do not like.
That is a very good question. I spoke about getting something, but there are the other desires which take the form of getting away from something. When you see that something is painful, then you run away from it. That also is desire. Now, that desire is also dependent on this error, this mistake that I and that thing is different. I hinted that, well, that therefore, when we have the perception of multiplicity, there is no end to fear. Either you want or you want to run away from it. Either of this, it is the automatic result of being aware of many. And that is why it is a terrible bondage. It is the bondages of this type. Imagine, that you see something you like, you want, and you run after it, feeling that that is going to make your life perfect. This is exactly what you were looking for. And you go and grab it. Now what happens? That very thing you don't want. That very thing you don't want. You see it in children all the time. Adults, they do not express it, but they also feel the same thing. They are just a little more wary about expressing their feelings. Children immediately, they take a toy. I want it. After 5 minutes, it is thrown away. So, now that which you ran for, the impulse now is to run away from that. And it goes on, Our condition is like that tennis ball being hit from this side to that side, this side to that side. Run to the object and run away from that object. It is so terrible. It is, one girl said, "Oh, Swami, I want to get married with that boy. That is my love. I want, that. And please bless me for that." Said, "Well, if you want, okay, but yeah." And I cannot imagine, she said, life without him. Said, okay. And then, they got married and all. And then started telling, before marriage, he was so different, Now, I cannot imagine life with him. That is, it is a very funny thing that that is how the bondage is so terrible, that you want and you don't want. It is, you want it till you get it. You want it till you get it. Imagine, the scariness of this. You want it till you get it. As soon as you get it, you don't want it. And you want to run away from it. So, that is how our situation here becomes. That is why it is, the desires are such a torture. Desires are such a torture because of that. So, there is no desire can give happiness exactly like that. We only keep on waiting for happiness to come. The happiness is just in waiting. There is that funny saying, it is a Urdu wise saying, which sounds funny, but that is the truth. जो मज़ा इंतज़ार में है वो वस्ले यार में नहीं. It is the fun that you have in waiting is not when you get the thing, then the fun is over, gone. So that is how it starts motion in other direction. It is you throw a ball on the wall and then it rebounds. The motion starts in other direction. That is how the nature of this attraction and repulsion in this world. Thank you. So, I request Vishwanath to begin his offertory, and then I'll tell you about the upcoming programs. There will be Arati, and after Arati, there is the music concert by the well-known saxophonist and tabla tabla player Phil Scarf and Nitin Mitta. They will be giving this concert that will be in the basement after Arati. Next Sunday, there will be a talk by Teresa Guerra. She is a psychologist, and she is going to speak about power of affirmation. She is a wonderful speaker, and she has given many brilliant talks here before. So next Sunday, that is May 20th, please do come for that. And the other programs during the week, the Tuesday and Friday Vedanta study classes at 7:30 p.m. will go on as usual. The Tuesday, the topic is Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play. On Friday, it is Swami Vivekananda's celebrated book, Jnana Yoga. Then a spiritual retreat is coming up on June 16, a day-long spiritual retreat, for which, of course, one has to register. You can register either online or in the office here. So let me conclude with the closing prayers, and then there will be the Arati. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahura Mazda of Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.